Banger. What up, baby? Let's
Hey!
go. Oh,
Great fucking
no,
weekend.
Mo. The Chiefs.
Beers.
still blow.
This is better than Jimmy's birthday right here.
Oh,
The day after the Chiefs get knocked
no,
out.
Mo.
All right. So beers and bets, y'all. We're here
How
to
about it?
recap
Hell yeah.
championship week. The Chiefs completely choke. They gave me one thing at the stadium yesterday in Kansas City. It says one team, one vision, and they left out one choke.
Yeah, exactly.
At the very bottom
they
of
had to
that.
they had to save some.
Yeah.
Looks like they did them in Sharpie, real first class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been loving that like brush font for they did it on the championship hats too. They love that.
Oh, really?
font. Yeah.
That oh my god, dude. I've been waiting for this. Like, dude, this was the best day of the year, man. Like Chris, oh my god, that was amazing. I mean, you were there. Tell me about the level of depression how it felt to be there in Arrowhead.
I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't able to soak in the depression because the guy who did invite me to the game, as soon as that field goal went through the uprights, he's like, "Let's go. Let's get out of here."
Oh yeah.
So
I
I didn't see much of the aftermath other than people chatting about it leaving the stadium. But really, we got to give credit where credit is due. Joey fucking Burrow, man. I know the stats aren't impressive, but some of the escapes he made yesterday, and the two biggest plays of the game, it wasn't even throws. He escaped and ran with the ball.
Yep.
These are both plays in the fourth quarter on the same drive. 3rd and 6.
3rd and 7.
Burrow runs for 7 yards. 3rd and 7. Burrow runs for 12 yards. And they were impressive fucking runs too.
The run was the Chris Jones play.
Yeah. Chris Jones kind of had him wrapped up. He was able to spin away. Yeah.
Looked like Eli on a couple of plays in that game.
Did. Yes, it was like Eli in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it looked like his helmet could have got ripped off.
Yeah, he was getting twisted, breaks it. Dude, I've never seen, man. Yeah. He made huge fucking plays, big throws. Like even they had a big drive. They converted a bunch of big 3rd downs yesterday, man. And that's why I hopped under those.
Yeah.
I thought it's funny you brought up mobility right away because I heard he was joking with Zach Taylor, the head coach, Saturday night, saying how he was going to get 100. He's like, I'm going to get 100 tomorrow. I'm going to get 100. And I think he had like 25. But,
yeah, 25, but they were big yards. Huge yards.
Yeah. Laterally that made big time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, dude, that he was getting, how many times was he sacked? Was he sacked at all yesterday? I don't even.
One time.
Yeah, man. So 9 a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. And then you do that. It's like, I know the Chiefs aren't as good as Tennessee, but man, dude, his ability to like read it once it's breaking down. And those receivers, like I told you guys last week, I believe that they were like, they have the depth a little over the Bills in terms of, I mean, Boyd and Higgins fucking showed up, dude. T. Higgins had a huge day.
Yeah.
He was my breakout player, man, for this game.
Hey, Mixon I'll tell you though, Mixon was right there in terms of importance because his runs in overtime to get him in field goal range, he was just killing them, dude. He was getting them.
There was actually
that one-handed catch he had.
Yes.
I was gonna say even the check downs in the late in the 4th.
But there was a bunch of gripe in the section I was in the stadium about that overtime run Mixon had, where he had basically given himself up, gone to the ground, but he kind of he flipped the ball up a little bit.
Yeah, but
so I mean, you could call it a fumble, but they've done that a number of times in the last handful of years, where if somebody is down and then just kind of sets the ball down or whatever, even if they're not touched, they haven't been calling that a fumble. Right. So that's the way they've been doing it.
I think if
there's nothing wrong.
It's considered giving yourself up.
Right.
So I mean, I thought Chief fans might have more issue with the illegal procedure where they had 10 guys on the line
that was bad,
on that run.
Dude. Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed that
really
at the
bad.
stadium.
I did not.
When they went big, they went heavy on that run. They had one receiver far left off the ball. Everybody player else was on the line
other than
in a 3-point stance.
Yeah.
And you can't have more than, is it 8 on or is it 9 on the line? 8. It's 8 on the line of scrimmage is the most you're able to have lined up.
Yeah,
Isn't
Brad
that
would
right?
know that more than
Yes,
I. But
and it's just it was so
like
glaring too,
blatant, dude.
because sometimes you're like,
Romo
oh,
pointed it out.
it was
like,
off by a half a foot, but no, it was just wasn't even
Yeah,
hidden.
it was not close, man. It wasn't like a quick
So
one
somebody
where they
made a
forgot to, like,
mistake
check.
because Zach Taylor obviously
Definitely.
knows that you need to
But you
have
know
so
what?
many people on
Chalk
the
that
line.
up to Frank Clark or not Frank Clark, but Jones having another fucking offsides in a big play, man. Like, dude, right? Didn't he have
It was
he had
Clark, I
five
think you're right.
encroachment or whatever yesterday? And it's like, dude, how do you do that at home after your team got fucked on it? Because Romo said, oh, you don't want to hear number 95 getting a 5-yard penalty because he lined up in the wrong spot here at Arrowhead. Because it was like what happened to him against the Patriots. And
it was D Ford against the Pats, but still.
Okay. Yeah. But I think what was it, 95 that he wore? Okay.
I think Frank Clark this time. But it was same 55.
Or 55, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man. It was funny.
As far as the Chiefs, that's probably their biggest like GM mistake is giving Frank Clark $20 million a year or whatever the hell they're giving him. He's not a top tier pass rusher to be getting that type of money.
What about Orlando Brown is a big mistake? They gave up some draft capital for him, and now you got to go sign him to a deal as a left tackle.
Yeah, I think they just got everything they could to fix the offensive line before this season started, but it wasn't enough because yesterday it was an issue. Hendrickson had a sack and a half, and it wasn't so much the sacks, but Mahomes was running around. And honestly, I put
Hubbard at the end back to back with the sacks.
Yeah,
to really kind of.
I put most of those sacks on Mahomes actually because he was just holding onto the ball, running around with it too long. He had his worst playoff game yesterday, and it's not even close. Yeah, dude, that second half by Mahomes was
people
pitiful.
Say he's getting better and better, and it's like he had a great ending to the year, but his last 2 playoff games, dude, they put up in the second half yesterday, they put up 3 points and in overtime, and then in the Super Bowl they put up 9.
Super Bowl, I wouldn't put on Mahomes. I really wouldn't.
Okay, but that's 6 quarters, whatever. I'll put it on because you want to call him the MVP. He put it on his shoulders. Then when he loses too, man, he put yesterday's game on him. Like that was on him.
Yesterday,
Tom Brady,
100%.
Tom Brady would put it on him, man. That's a leader, the MVP, the GOAT, whatever the fuck you were calling him. The GOAT doesn't do what he did yesterday, dude. You don't have the team. They didn't, dude. Talk about overthinking it. They have 2nd and goal with the Bengals have no timeouts, dude. They need at the 4-yard line. You score a touchdown and you give them 30 seconds on the clock and you win the fucking game. They did not look like the Chiefs, dude. They looked like
too many options and they didn't know what to do.
They got worried and didn't they know they completely forgot how good McKinnon was running the ball. Every time they got down in the red zone in the first half and in the second, they fucked up both times. They didn't get points out of either one. Well, not what they needed in the second half. The first time,
they settled for a field goal at the end of the second
and
half.
And in the first half, they fucked that up, and that would have been the difference in the game. But they get too cute, and it's like, dude, they didn't hand it off to McKinnon once, man. And even to start the drive in overtime, they tried 2 passes to Robinson.
So DeMarcus Robinson, what are we doing? In overtime, we're going to start going to DeMarcus Robinson
and missed him, dude. I know that the dude made a good play, Hendrickson or the D tackle or the D end. Is it Hendrickson? Whatever.
Got his hand on one of the 2.
He kind of jumped up and it forced the throw around him, but. Dude, they got away from the run game, and that also fucked them inside the red zone down there because the 2nd and goal. Let's go back to the Seahawks Patriots fucking Super Bowl. It's like
I think that's an issue with their offense.
The ball off and get the time.
When you never go under center, they don't have like a goal line offense.
The back
just punch it in at
it's all kind of gimmicks. It's all gimmicks inside the 10, right?
Mirrors and movement and whatever.
Like a fucking
but they never get down,
game,
in 3-point stances and just drive people back 2 yards.
And the Bengals showed up and said, "All right, we'll take the ball in overtime." And we even said before it happened, we're on the headset playing a PlayStation or just watching, but in a party, and it was like, dude, get a pick and get a field goal. And old Shooter McGavin, baby. That dude, when he made the field goal, Romo goes, Shooter. Fucking, what Shooter McGavin
That's funny. I'll have to rewatch that game. That's one that's worth a rewatch.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
How about this stat, though? The Chiefs have 34 yards of total offense in the second half before that last drive that was the tying field goal to send it to overtime. So before that last drive, they had 34 yards of total offense in the second half. That is a crazy low number, man.
I have
the Bengals just locked them down in that second half. It was
really comes
crazy
down
to see.
Yeah.
He was 8 of 18 for 55 yards and 2 picks. It says like the stat I had from like the end of the first half. So it must have been when they fucked up. Because, dude, what did you think of that call? Not kicking the field goal there, man.
I was calling for field goal. I was calling for field goal. Andy Reid was calling for field goal too because the field goal team was coming onto the field, and Pat Mahomes waves the field goal team off. And if you're gonna wave the fucking field goal team off, at least throw it into the end zone. Do not dump it short in the flat. Because as soon as while that ball was in the air, while that ball was in the air, I said out loud, I was like, he's not making it. You could tell there's two guys closing in on him out there.
Made a great play.
It was great, but there was a second guy that probably was going to get a piece of him anyways.
But that was a really good hit, and that dude missed a pick six that on another missed Mahomes, another dump throw in overtime. Where
right before the interception he ended up throwing. Eli Apple had a chance at one. Yeah,
I think you got to give that Bengals defense credit though. I mean, they adjusted big time because I kind of looked at in the first half they were dropping 8 or more guys into coverage a quarter of the time, so they were blitzing, but Mahomes was untouched. I mean, they basically just dink and dunk their way down. It felt like every drive in that first half, which I mean, you still kind of did keep those guys in check, Kelsey and Hill. You know, they never burned you for a 70-yard bomb like, you know, Hill normally has or something like that. But they up there dropping 8 or more in the second half to over 50%. And they were getting there with 4 with Hendricks and Hubbard and a good push up the middle. And I don't know if it, you know, they started doing some more twists and whatever with the line, but
it was really Mahomes holding on to the ball too long. It wasn't so much like offensive linemen were getting straight up beat easy. But Mahomes was sitting back there trying to do his crazy spinorama stuff. And you can't do that shit too many times, you know? You can do it every once in a while when you really need to, like Burrow did yesterday, right?
Yep. Right.
He did it too many times. Mahomes tried to pull
Chiefs have had success in the playoffs. That's one of his better things that people have kind of forgotten about is he'll have those plays where he runs and you're like, damn, that motherfucker can run too a little bit. You know, he had a big run yesterday when he need, but it is like the minute he turns it into like a Madden game when you're playing with Vic or something. And like
you start running backwards,
even though you don't have to. And it's like, dude, you're just trying to like do too much, man. And Rex Ryan, I thought had a great quote today on whatever. And he's not great, you know, whatever, but
he's entertaining.
Yeah, he said, though, he turned it into a game of street ball when it didn't have to be. And I agree with that. It was like, dude, they were like Brad said, they were kind of just dinking and dunking. And on those first 3 drives, I mean, dude, they were clicking unbelievably. And I know drives are scripted early, and dude, I'm going to get bigger picture, dude. We can look at what Mahomes did when he did win the Super Bowl. I always go back to it was a down year. But like, dude, ultimately, let's get back to Andy Reid. Because, dude, he's done this. He did this when they were up 21-10 against the fucking Mariota-led Titans in the playoffs back in 2015 or whatever it was, and blew that lead at Arrowhead. Yep. So it's bigger than just fucking Mahomes, man.
Andy Reid is now 3-6 in AFC or NFC championship games.
That's what I'm saying, man.
3-6 in championship games. That's a bad record.
Everyone almost has been at home, dude. Yeah, one of those has probably been on the road. The Rams one when they lost here and when we lost to the Patriots that year. You know, that one. I can't think of all the other ones were either at the vet, at the new
I don't even think the one they lost to the Patriots. I think the Patriots one was in Kansas
when
City
the Rams beat them, when the Rams beat them in 2001.
Yeah.
That one was at the Dome here. Yeah. But so dude, he's played all these games. Patrick Mahomes is again, the GOAT. 1-3, or, one Super Bowl out of 4 home games in the AFC Championship game.
Well, I feel like a little of that shine is
I'm not going to that zoo.
to be gone now. You know that like it's because now you know you're bringing up Andy Reid's history. Well, Andy Reid in Kansas City has their own awful history of historic painful losses. It's like it's like I'm sure the sky
Schottenheimer had a few right.
It's all coming out,
you're taking 2 historic, like not that they're bad teams, but historic losers, and it kind of caught up to him in this moment.
Yeah, definitely. But overthinking it too, man.
Gotta love Joe Burrow. Speaking of, before we move on, because I know we've done this.
I got one more thing too. Go ahead.
The one I saw was 3 years ago when LSU won the national championship. There's a big like nose tackle, like Sheldon something, whatever, like 350 pounder that was for LSU, and he was carrying Burrow around on one shoulder while Burrow's just kind of like having fun. So they ended up when Burrow was a first round pick, that guy was the 4th round pick for the Bengals. So
And
they
that
like
was the dude that
recreated
did
the
it.
photo, of
He
him
did it
on the
again.
shoulder again.
Yeah.
The same thing. It's
All
just
the
like
videos and shit
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
I did
man.
not see that yet. I saw him smoking a cigar in the locker room, but I didn't see
Yeah.
him getting carried yet. And then the other thing I think hasn't been mentioned enough from what I've heard today on the Football Talk, Joe Burrow tore his ACL last year. And so he's bounced back from that injury. It was kind of up in the air whether he was going to be ready for week 1 this season.
Right.
And to come back from that ACL injury and then lead to the Bengals not only to the playoffs, but to the Super Bowl in his second year in the NFL. Pretty wild stuff,
right.
man. I mean, the
Well,
Cincinnati
sacked,
Bengals are in
what
the
did he get
Super Bowl.
sacked 52 times too or something
I
crazy
think
this year?
that's
Knocked out the number 1 and number 2
like-
seed on the road.
Right.
As a wild card team.
Mhm.
Like, dude, fucking crazy, man. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, this is something I know I brought, like we talked about this a few weeks ago. Is he going to be that quarterback that fucks it all up like Ralph, in that rookie year, that early on in the career where you're like, yeah, who knows what you're going to get with that. And next thing you know, in a year from now, we're going to be like, yeah, man, the Bengals, like they're fucking, you got to go to Cincinnati to win. Like,
I almost think people compare Burrow to Brady because of the way he moves around in the pocket. I actually think the best comparison for Burrow, he's like a better version of Tony Romo, man, because he kind of moves around in a similar way.
Yeah.
Maybe
but he's just a little
Tony.
bit better.
Yeah.
More agile. Yeah.
Well, and it's tough to really judge him yet because it's like you kind of mentioned coming off the injury, we're kind of seeing the healthiest he's probably been in a long time
in the NFL. Because Romo did move around quite a bit, similar to how Burrow.
He did, especially as a younger
but
guy.
Breeze can't move for shit, man.
Yeah, but when he was younger, he
don't compare somebody like Burrow to Breeze.
I'm trying to
I
just think of the way that his accuracy is on point, though. So I'm trying to think of a guy because, we can't really compare him because he is just different.
I personally, the way just his size and that a little bit of I'm not saying Rodgers' ability, but you kind of saw a lot of comfortableness for a guy that's not that mobile, that he's just kind of sitting back there hanging.
He can still get away.
Just kind of like Ben too, I guess, early in his career.
Ben is the one, but again, Ben's just so big. But
Ben did it not by moving around so agilely. He did it
Burrow
by just
was like an average QB,
off.
I think. He's like 6'4", 220.
Dude, like some of those plays, man, getting out of that, it was incredible. It was like, again, a lot of it, I was like, dude, that's like Eli shit, man. Like, what the fuck are we watching right now? Like in Arrowhead, like
and he did it a number of times too. It wasn't just once that he escaped.
No,
and the crazy shit.
The connection he had with his boy, fucking number 1, Chase, dude. Yeah. The throw for the touchdown after they got the
2-point conversion. It was right.
The interception and then the touchdown right away. And no, not on the 2-point conversion, though. The touchdown, the 2-point conversion, the dude was wide open. It was that out route to that.
I thought I might be mixing that up then because I thought Chase caught the 2-point conversion. I didn't think Chase caught the touchdown too.
Yeah, it was like a 3rd and goal play too.
Touchdown.
It was a big play, and it was just a 1-on-1, and he just lobs it up, kind of like go up and get it, and he went up and got it.
Yeah, they made it damn clear, didn't they, that they're gonna do some jump balls no matter what.
Dude, they kept doing it too early, and I'm like, why the fuck are they doing this? And then underrated, that touchdown by P. Ryan was fucking huge too, man.
Right before half.
Yeah.
You could see it coming too I had a good angle of how that play was setting up.
Yeah.
Looking at it, I called touchdown like when he was not even 5 yards down the field. I was like, oh, they got him. They got him.
Well, Chase had a huge block on that play, man. And you can, when you see those receivers too that went to like LSU or whatever, and have to put in that work at practice and shit.
Their whole core is pretty physical.
Right. They're going.
And Chase could have been a running back too, is what a lot of his coaches have said. Ogeron says it.
I believe it.
He could have been a good running back too.
Well,
he's a strong guy.
You even saw early in the game. That's the most I've seen them. I was like, they must have seen how well Debo's done because he was getting a lot of jet sweeps and stuff early, trying to get him going.
Chase has had other big blocks throughout the season too. There was a long mix and run where Chase led the way into the end zone.
Shout out to Mike. By the way, big fan of Beers and Bets. Mike,
we
got our shirts coming to us, man.
Is now the best time to shout him out right after a Chiefs loss, though?
No, but he'll enjoy hearing it.
Gotta pick them up when they're down, baby. That's what you got. Yeah, that's what you do.
Maybe next year, Mike.
He hooked it up with the apparel, man. First
right on
apparel. So
I saw the pictures. Yeah,
man. So we'll have those coming. You can buy them on our website.
before we jump to the other game, I want to stay in the AFC because something interesting I was thinking about is like you could say that the best 5 quarterbacks in the NFL are in the AFC right now because you have Mahomes, you have Josh Allen, you have Justin Herbert, you have Joe Burrow, and then you might have Aaron Rodgers going to Denver next year. Right? That's 5. That's the 5 best quarterbacks.
Maybe at this point, though.
Yeah, but that's another thing to think about. Why would Rodgers really want to go to the AFC when it's so much more of a difficult path to get to a Super Bowl?
I disagree, though. That man, like that. I don't know if it's that much easier to get to a Super Bowl. It's not that fucking easy for any team. You see that with the Patriots or with the Buccaneers this year, even if you have great talent, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but the Buccaneers didn't have all their great talent.
I'm saying though, like injuries. That's my point. Like injuries, so that can pop up on any team, man. You see that go with like every team in the league. I don't think it's getting to a Super Bowl isn't just because of who. If you're a good football team, you're going to get to a Super. You know, it's not based on who's in your division. I'm sure a lot of guys in the NFL, like the Bengals yesterday, were probably like, I want to play the Chiefs, man. I want that opportunity to whoop their ass, man. Like, I'm glad they're in our fucking conference because then you have the confidence going into the Super Bowl to beat the mediocre, who I don't think are at all, when you have the 2 best defensive players in the world, probably. But the lame Rams, it's like in the NFC. It's like, that's not an easy matchup, dude. No one in the Super Bowl is like, oh, we get, the NFC. Oh, damn, we're good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you might. The AFC.
I just think it's a much easier path.
They might have the premium quarterback talent, but I think a lot of NFC teams are a little more well-rounded. Like they don't have that premier Mahomes level guy. But if you have Kyler, Dak, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, like you feel pretty confident going head to head against like Herbert or any of those guys, even.
Yeah. Like
there's not that much. There's not that much of a disparity. I feel like there's like a little chunk, like 4 good QBs, and then after that, it's kind of like the next 10.
If Hopkins is healthy, I would put Kyler. Yeah, like a game with Herbert and Kyler. That's a toss up to me.
Yeah, that's probably.
I think Herbert's probably a better quarterback, but like, yeah, I mean, so. A lot of it remains to be seen too. Like we give Herbert a lot of credit, but he hasn't played in a playoff game yet. You know what I mean? He kind of blew the one playoff chance he had to play in a playoff
against the Raiders, right? Yep.
So,
I just think it kind of sucks that you got 4 of these really good young guys in the AFC, and only one of them gets a crack at a Super Bowl chance every year. And maybe none of them do a couple of these years over the course of the next 5 years or so. There could be a year where none of these best quarterbacks represent the AFC. Herbert, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes. Josh Allen's got to get there. So that'd be a good bet for the offseason is the Bills to win the AFC next year. Because it seems like they've made a step closer every year and just come up short.
If the Bengals, I mean, they have a good core, and their coach, he started off first 2 years. He was like 5-25 or something. It was bad, you know what I'm saying? And then now whatever their record was this, like, the first 2 years, and now I know the dude was hurt last year, but I mean, dude, he's turned that team around, man. So I don't think they're going anywhere. If they, with Mixon, who knows when running backs age.
And it's like the closest thing to like the Detroit Lions making the Super Bowl, right? Like when we were kids, it was the Bengals were absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And the Lions were terrible. Yeah. So it'd be like being the coach of the Lions
2 years ago, weren't they?
Yeah. That's why they got Joe Burrow. Yeah.
Well, and we're seeing that a lot too, dude. You look at like the Seahawks, you look at like the teams that were kind of shitty for like a long time. I guess the Seahawks, they
were more middle of the pack. Yeah.
But like, dude, like the I don't know, like there was I had this in my notes somewhere here, but yeah, like teams are starting to, like the Chiefs. I mean, I had that, but they did it. They built, man, and we're starting to see that actually work out.
Are you trying to talk like how? Like I know I've heard it before, how like a lot of teams try to get the rookie quarterback into the team that's ready to win, because you can have the expensive team with the cheap QB.
Yeah. And then you add in the fucking Mahomes, and then it's like, fuck, dude. Like the Chiefs at that point were already kind of right there. You add in the Burrow, even though what the Bengals thing was way.
Well, I know this coming year, speaking of Mahomes, is when that big deal of his starts hitting the cap. When he goes from like 6% of the team money to 23 or whatever.
Yeah, buddy.
What you got to do is not. What you got to do if you're the Chiefs is not make the mistake signings like Frank Clark, paying a defensive end like that $20 million a year when he's just not.
And then you got to make tough calls, like Chris
and
Jones,
Kelsey's not going to be. Kelsey 2 years from now.
You have Kelsey locked down for a lot of through like 2025.
Didn't Kelsey kind of show signs that he's like close to not being his full self anymore this year? Like he had a very slow start to this year. I don't think he's going to be like quite, as impactful. And I say that, but Gronk Gronk being old.
They do
Gronk being old. He's still gotten it done. So
Travis Kelce in the last 6 weeks has looked like Travis Kelce
yeah,
dude, come on. I mean, and the leadership level and him telling Tyreek, who probably doesn't know how to read, where to go on that play with 13 seconds and how to set that up. No,
Kelsey's going to be done before Mahomes is. Like Kelsey maybe plays another 5 years.
Oh, well, duh, yeah.
You better hope he plays.
I don't. Dude, who knows what Mahomes? Yeah. His dumbass is going to get rocked.
Well, Mahomes just might decide he wants to own the Royals and not play football anymore.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait.
I wonder if this loss humbles him a little bit, though.
It should, because it was. I think it will. But
this is the first one you can say is on him.
It was Mahomes' fault for sure.
Dude, they blew it. Yep. Like they were up 21-3, man. At home.
I mean, they blew it, but the Chiefs, they're not Chiefs. The Bengals took advantage too.
Oh, they did.
I mean, because we watched it and we're like,
that
oh man,
tip pick.
Every time the Bengals wouldn't score an offense, like, oh shit, here come the Chiefs again.
I'll tell you something.
And then they'd get another stop.
Brett or Matt, you'll get a kick out of this, man. When they lost that game, before we get on to, I know we got to get to the other game, but I love this shit. When the Titans with Mariota, remember that was the year he threw the touchdown pass to himself. Revis tipped it and he caught a touchdown.
That was Alex Smith days with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Alex Smith, right. The Titans were playing at Arrowhead. We talked about that earlier. And dude, they were down 21-10. I put on this documentary of the Miracle on Ice at halftime. And I was like, all right, this is what we need here, man. And Brad, we were at my dad's house, man, watching this shit. Dude, they came back and won that game. So yesterday at halftime, I was like, dude,
you played the Miracle again.
I was like, well, this is weird. They were, because I was down, dude. I was like, man, I'm done with football. Because I was like, dude, if they're gonna blow them out,
the Super Bowl, I don't care about tonight's game.
Because I get it, dude. I had no, dude. It was no reason. It was 21-3. It's like, yo, if they're gonna blow them out,
air, aren't you today?
Yeah, he was pissed. He's like, yo, fuck, what is it? I'm like, yo, if they're gonna blow them out, I don't, the Rams and Niners. I mean, the Niners were our rival when they were in St. Louis. People like forget that act like they're fans here now, of the Rams. But it's like, dude, they, are not fans of the Rams. I don't know. All of it is annoying. But yeah, so it was like the Chiefs were rivals too. People forget that easily. And yeah, dude, it was the worst of the worst case scenario. I was down and out. But yeah, I put on that documentary.
And it worked again. Yeah.
One, dude. It was
I love shit like that. Yeah. Because I know what you mean. I'm like a superstitious sports fan where I feel like what jersey I decide to wear can impact the game outcome of the game.
Dude, I had it on replay. I just kept going back to the replay. It's like a 54-minute long dig. So I get back to the beginning and I'm like, all right, but we can get to the other game, man. My bad. That was
No, I agree with you. Or like even I'll have weird things, and it actually happened this year when the Bucks played the Rams in that divisional round. I go to the store where I always get my beer Sunday mornings, and they don't have fucking Miller Lite. They're out of Miller Lite, and I'm like, oh no, this is a bad sign. And it was a bad sign. I had to. I think I did Miller High Life instead, which is a close second. But
but they
it's still,
it up, man.
It was just a bad sign. I was like, oh, this isn't good.
I know what you mean, dude. Yeah, it gets in the head, dude. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's fucking weird, dude. Yeah. But it worked like a charm. I couldn't believe my eyes, man. I was done. I was like, I don't even want to fucking watch this game anymore. I was about without that P. Ryan touchdown, Top Man might have thrown in the towel.
You're so negative, man. You're so fucking negative.
Dude, I am. But
the ebb and flow in that game was fun.
Dude, by the end, I'm like, yo, so what time's the next one? That's how the Rams play, bro. All right, let's get to that.
What a great day of football, man.
Yeah, right.
It was. It really was. It really was.
Let's talk. Yeah, let's get on. Let's get on to Rams at 49ers though, because the 49ers kind of had it in hand. We had the big dropped. We had the big dropped interception.
Deja vu.
We've been here before, haven't we? Talked about this guy.
Shanahan. But McVay was trying to blow it too with those 2 stupid challenges.
Yes.
McVay had wasted all of his timeouts on 2 stupid challenges, and then and then they avoided delay a game. When you're down to 1 timeout, why not just take the fucking delay a game and hold on to that last timeout? But McVay has blown all of his timeouts, and then Stafford throws one right to Jerkowski Tart. Tart drops it. If Tart catches that ball, the 49ers might be able to eat up like the last 8 minutes of the game because the Rams are out of timeouts.
I'd agree.
You know?
Did you see his quote today? How bad?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. It does suck to be.
He owned it right in the post game presser.
Right. He had a tweet. That might have been what it was from. The quote.
He's like, all week, didn't drop a ball in practice, didn't drop a ball in warmups. He's like,
this is on me. I let my brothers down. No one feels worse than me in this locker room right now. It's like, dude, fuck that. Someone should, and his name is fucking Shanahan. Kyle, you asswipe. You blew another one. You blew another one.
Up 10 in the third. Couldn't finish.
Dude, how the fuck? So now what do you do if you're the Niners? You're like, all right, he saved face for like a few months, and ultimately when it came down to it, beat him 6 times, but when it came down to it, who got the best of you when it counted, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think the Rams defense kind of had him fooled by the end because the Niners really couldn't run the ball for shit.
It was telling that they didn't go for that 4th down, right?
Yeah.
It was telling that they chose not to. They didn't have confidence to get it. Yeah.
That play by Garoppolo.
At the end,
about the shovel
last one.
The pick.
No, the pick. He's just like, dude, you got another down, brother. Just get rid of it. You know, take the sack. I mean, better than doing that. Like 4th and 20 is better. You know, the Eagles won a game once, 4th and 27 or something like that. And I think the Ravens won a game like that once, right? But yeah, man, I mean, better that than just dude, he just threw it around like a frisbee. It was like Michael Scott when he shows up at the campus with Ryan. And he goes, he's like, oh,
I mean, they were desperate at that point, but
I mean,
but that was a bad. I mean,
I think it just it's like this team that's very talented. Now you're going to hand it over to a rookie next year. That not that Jimmy G looked impressive, but it's not like he set the world on fire.
I think we've seen that it's like way too difficult to try to win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G, though. Right? Yeah, you need to give somebody else a chance,
unless he's
that team around him.
Like, you know what I mean?
I also think it go.
He'd be a fine. I was just gonna say in like a more physical run, like Tennessee, Jimmy G could be fine there, or like a Cleveland, he would be okay there. But
I'd like to see him in Cleveland.
When it's on his shoulders, it's not going to end well.
Yeah,
I think they jumped the gun in terms because we talked earlier about throwing that quarterback on in the right situation, and if you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers, that won't happen because they jumped the gun and signed Garoppolo. But like
Still could.
Or even if like is it Fields or no, it's the Lance.
Fields
right?
is in Chicago.
No,
Lance is in
Trey
the
Lance.
Niners.
If he somehow is gonna talk about people around you, man. Debo is becoming his own. You have George Kittle, dude. That's the 2 things you need. Look at the Chiefs.
Ayuk didn't look bad.
Yeah, dude, you have those weapons. Elijah Mitchell's looked pretty good.
Well, I think people keep forgetting too. Like Mitchell looked amazing, but nobody they could use Trey Sermon more next year. That real big back from Ohio State that got drafted way ahead.
He was really good, and I drafted Trey Sermon in a bunch of fantasy stuff, man, and he wasn't learning quick enough, I guess, to make it as a rookie. But he was really good at Ohio State. That's what I remember seeing him. You know, that's why I took him in fantasy as I saw him at Ohio State. He looked like a great running back. And Shanahan couldn't trust him this year. He wasn't ready yet.
I think his ability to evaluate talent, he does have a good dude. He's a good, of running backs and shit. Even at Atlanta, they had those backs that like they were pass catchers, but just athletes. More importantly than being a receiver or a running back, just a guy like Debo that you can use for whatever, Swiss Army knife type guy. So, yeah, I think if you get a quarterback on that team, and I just think after watching yesterday, I don't think it's Jimmy G, but Stafford didn't – in that first half, dude, he had a bad pick. They did everything they could to make the Niners win that game, man. They did not – they didn't want to run away with it, the Rams.
It was just the NFC West Classic, though. I mean, both teams really tried to run the ball. Both got shut down, and then it got kind of like just crazy at the end.
Yeah, that was a good one though. I enjoyed it. It was cool seeing Aaron Donald point at his ring finger.
Yeah.
Did you see that? He's like, I'm coming
after
that
pressure that forced that last play. Yeah.
I do feel good about. I like that the Rams won because I actually like the Bengals' chances against the Rams more than I would have against the 49ers.
Really?
Because I think the Bengals are better set up to stop the pass than the run. You know.
Well, we can break down that more.
Yeah.
You know, we'll
on Thursday.
Do that.
Yeah.
But,
well, no, we won't even really be able to get to it on Thursday, will we? Because we got 2 weeks.
Right.
No.
Well, we have a little bit of time.
We gonna talk Pro Bowl on Thursday? No.
I was thinking we got a lot of coach movement too, but we'll figure it out. But I do
talk about where Jameis is going to end up.
We're going to talk beers and
San Fran was able to shut down Vaughn and Donald pretty much until that last play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Between them, no sacks, 3 quarterback hits.
And Vaughn, that's why they got him. I almost wish I was rocking the Rams jersey because it's like, dude, you know what? That's why they went out and got those guys. You know, we touched on Odell a little, but dude, this is why they got him, man. He's been the difference maker.
I mean, at this point, Odell's been the bigger signing than Vaughn, or the bigger.
No, I'm talking Odell. Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. Between them two. Yeah.
I'm saying Odell's been fucking huge because Cooper Kupp had 2 touchdowns yesterday, and who do you think's opening those looks up with Higgy out, man? It's like, they have that other fucking threat out there, and he's playing great. I think he had over 100 yards. I don't have the numbers right here.
He went over 100 and a touchdown.
Yeah, another big game, dude. So
well, because it'll be interesting because Cooper Kupp and Odell combined had like
250 yards.
They almost had 2/3 of the whole team's targets.
Yeah, and 250 yards. They was paying off. Yeah, because Kupp had like $130, $140. Odell had like 110. Hey, so it was a bunch of yards between.
Before we're about at a minute. Cooper Kupp or Tyreek Hill?
Kupp.
This year, Kupp was better. Kupp was better.
Because they remind me of each other a lot.
Yeah.
Because they both get dinged up a little too.
That play Tyreek had against the Bills.
I'm going Kupp though.
With like a minute to go though. That play by Tyreek, we never really touched on that last week. The play now I can like kind of be like,
he's
cool.
special.
That play he had to score the touchdown with like a minute to go, man. That was phenomenal.
It's the type of play you see in college, but not in the NFL, right?
Dude.
Where somebody just burns everybody else on the field.
The whole but horizontally, dude. Like not even like just cooking them. It's like, no, they just had terrible angles. Like, but I think we're under a minute. So
all right.
Time to whoop your ass.
Yeah. Let's hit it. Me against Jimmy and trivia. Brad's got some questions lined up for us.
Let's get it.
Let's take a quick break and we'll be back with trivia.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.